Hi, my name is Michaela Zimmerman. I'm 17 years old, I'm in grade 11, and I think I have an idea that could work. So I've thought about it for a while on how I can make it within my local community, think about it in a big globalized context, and make it sustainable. These are the three main factors of a Girl Scout Gold Award. Now, I've been a Girl Scout since before I can remember. That's me and my troop. We had lots of fun, ate lots of cookies. And this project actually came from a previous Scouts project, but was developed by me and my mom. Thank you, Mom, for helping me, to fit my project that I'm going to be doing and completing this year. All right. The idea is classroom in a box, and it could not be more obvious title because it literally is a box filled with classroom supplies. And the previous Scout that I got this project from, let's call her Amy. Amy, bright, creative, smart, very nice, very funny, yeah, whatever. Okay, so Amy, what she wanted to do was she built and she put in a library for a local migrant school. She got all the books donated, she organized them, she color-coded them, or some library binary system. She built and painted bookshelves herself, and one weekend she moved them all in. She was done. Amy had put in all the hard-working hours, and they were going to pay off. She then proceeded to go on summer vacation, and when she came back, the school was leveled. There was no school, there were no kids, and with that, no library. All of her hard work was gone. Now, I've had my fair share of complaints about going to school, I'm sure we all have, but I've never considered my opportunity to go to school to cease to exist. So I thought, why can't we bring school along with us? Okay, these are the kids that I'm working with. They're from Yingbo Kindergarten. They're very cute, they're very loud. So with Amy's project, we have option A, which is to totally abandon it, start all from scratch, and whatever, new project. Or we have option B. And option B is to take an existing project and modify it. And that's what I did. I chose option B. Now, Amy's project seemed foolproof, and some things are just out of our control that we can't help, but there's always one step to be taken and one step to learn from previous projects that we can do when creating sustainable projects. Okay, my idea, so I thought about the project long and hard. I had no idea what I was going to do. I like gardening, I like animals. I kind of wanted to move away and do something new, so I decided to focus on education and education within the local Beijing community. And I think Girl Scouts has pretty much got it down. Like, when have they been wrong, honestly? They always push for projects to be sustainable so they're lasting and that you can do a good job and help your community. So it's pretty good logic. Now, when we talk about community and service, people always say, nice people shouldn't expect nice things in return. Yes, but we can't expect the projects to be remembered and lasting. There is no point in doing something that's just gone within a month. All right, so my focus today will be firstly on my project and the steps I took to make it sustainable. And then secondly, projects that you might be doing in the future that I can help to make sure your projects are sustainable and within your community and on a global context. All right, firstly, the Girl Scout Gold Award. The Girl Scout Gold Award is the highest award any Girl Scout can earn. It's very pretty. It consists of 80 working hours and varies from project to project. Girl Scouts really pushes girls to think globally, act locally, and make sure things are sustainable. You have no idea how many times they write sustainable on their Girl Scout Gold Award page. They write it 13 times. It's pretty nailed in your brain. All right, here's Yingbo Kindergarten. Very simple, very nice. It is clean, it's had some work done. However, there's still more to do. Now, my idea was to originally set up a room for educational games or activities during the harsh winter months in Beijing. I then learned about Amy's project, and within a day, the school could be gone and my project with it, so that bad idea, I'm not going to do that. And rooms can't be made out of thin air, so I just made some adjustments. I heard the famous story of Amy's project. Well, it's famous within the Girl Scout community in Beijing, but I didn't want that to happen to me because I want my projects, and I'm sure all of you want your projects, to make a difference and make a lasting difference. So I thought of what ifs. What if I couldn't get enough money? What if my project didn't work out? What if the school was gone? What if the kids didn't care? You have to answer these questions. I answered the questions by filling them out. Students came to me and said, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, and that's how I'm going to do it. And it helped me. You have to answer them quickly before they become a raging problem. All right, and that's where the box idea came in. And that's what we're going to do to make it sustainable. I had to communicate with the school. I asked Roundabout, which is a second-hand local charity store, if I could have donations. And they said, sure, as long as I knew who I was working with. And if they weren't known for fraud or corruption, or they were cheating the people they were helping. I was really lucky. I've been working closely with a woman named Yvonne Garrett, so all my questions could be answered. It's no fun to fund a cause if it's not doing what they're telling you to do. You want to make sure your time and donations are going towards what you think they're going towards. No matter what you do, you have to ask the questions, you have to get answers. If they really want your donations and your time, don't be afraid, they'll answer your questions. I also was very lucky and fortunate to have Yinbo Kindergarten very close to me, so I could visit the place. I could see what they have and what they didn't have. So some donations mean well, but aren't very appropriate. Someone donated bikes. The children can't even stand up on their own sometimes. So you have to make sure the donations are right. So I suggest visiting and communicating. Make a conscious decision about what you're doing. All right, and you have to check in on it. When I finish the project, I want to be able to know that the boxes are for good use and that they're using the right things, and if they need any help with them. I have to step back and let them take control in order to make it sustainable. I can't always be there. I'm not going to be in Beijing forever. I hope not, at least. But you have to make sure someone else can take over the project when they can, and you need to step back, but that doesn't mean you can't check in on it. So check in on your project and make sure it's going well. Okay, now we're going to talk about your projects and how to make them sustainable. It's really hard to ensure project sustainability, but there are precautions to be taken to make sure no disappointments happen. I call them disappointments because that's honestly the worst feeling you can feel. It's when my parents are like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. It's awful. You don't want disappointments to happen, and I can help you from not making them happen. All right, this is no mathematical formula, but there are 5 steps I've done and I've observed others doing through sustainable projects. It can be achieved because you're not the first one. It's been done before. First step, the one I hate, research. Researching is never fun, but if you started with an idea of your own or learned of an idea that didn't work before, you can always adjust them and make them happen. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, something that I've always been constantly nailed into my brain as I go through Girl Scouts. You should research into previous projects. Look into successful stories, look into unsuccessful stories, see where they went wrong, and fix those problems. Research, investigate, and find out. I've never heard someone say, I did too much research. That's not a thing, and it won't be a thing ever. Communicate. I want you to communicate with the organization you're going to be working with. You need to find out where the money is going for, and in my case, the student's tuition. If they really want your donations and time, they're going to answer your questions. It's not fun or good to fund a cause that isn't what it seems. There's actually another story in the Girl Scout community about a headmistress who was taking funds and being, oh, this is wonderful, we're going to heat the school. Instead, when they came back to visit, the kids were still wearing their coats, and there was a nice fancy house for the headmistress down the road. So ask the questions and get the answers. This one, most importantly, is answer the what-if questions. What ifs are no fun, especially down the road. I didn't think of that. Think of it now and answer it and prevent it from happening. And I understand we can't think of everything at the same time, but if it does come up in mind, do your best to answer it and solve it before it becomes an actual thing. Questions are good, but answers are better. By answering, you're bound to be heading in a sustainable direction. And you know, Amy worked hard on her projects. Girl Scouts all work hard on their gold awards. They don't hand them out for free. But to make it sustainable, you have to answer the questions and make sure you know what you're doing. After you've completed your project, I highly suggest you stay engaged and you check in on your project. You might have to hand it off to somebody because you're not going to be there forever to help out. So someone might have a different leadership style or a different way of taking things on. Calm down. It's okay. As long as the main goal is still there and the project's taking its course, it'll be all right. Make sure you check in and make sure it's in good use. If it's not in good use, change it. Change the way. With my boxes, if they're not used the way I wanted them to be used, I can step in. I can say, hey, that's not the way I thought it would be, and help them out to help your project out. Okay. The last step, but probably one of the most important, is to educate and inspire people. Talk. I want you to talk, and I never want you to shut up about your project. You need to tell people what's going on. You need to share photos, videos, anything you've learned, ideas. Because the more we spread ideas, the more people are going to spark more ideas from that. They're going to grow, and they're going to grow, and they're going to develop. And the more you hear about something, the longer it stays. Okay. Here's some more of the kids. They like to decorate their classrooms. It's fun and it's cute. And with your project, you might not succeed on your first try, but that's why I suggest you make it close to home. I'm going to talk about how you can launch your project globally, but starting at home, locally. Now, there are 2 ways to take them on, locally and globally, as I just said, but the first one's easier than the second one. That doesn't mean you can't be ambitious to take on a global project. Local projects can benefit you and your community. You can engage yourself in different projects that are already existing and build off of those that are already in place. And it makes you learn more about the people and places around you. After you completed a project locally, if it works at home, why couldn't it work anywhere else? Launch it. Why not? It could benefit the lives of many others, and it could benefit you. You need to talk, and you need to let people know what's going on. When I was in 9th grade, I accepted the Hilary Monroe Award for my work in community service. And when anyone asked me what I do, I tell them the projects I was in, the community service groups I was in, and they had the same reaction. Like, they didn't know. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you did that. Oops, no, talk, let them know. Let them hear, let them have your ideas, let them spread what you're doing, let them help out. Share your projects, they're your baby. My projects are my baby. Why shouldn't people know? Like, involve them. So by the time in 10th grade when I accepted the same award, people knew what I was doing. People wanted to help me out. People wanted to have a conversation. I love to talk. I really do. So what you guys should as well. Talk about your projects, advertise, sell your ideas. It's not impossible to have a sustainable project. They've been done before. They've been done by the UN. They've been done by other Girl Scouts, and they can be done by you. I think some things can work well and some things can't. That's why people need to share ideas so we can modify the ones that didn't work. Without Amy's project, I would have never been able to mobilize mine and get that idea. And if you do succeed, spread it. Spread it like butter. Butter is delicious. And so can your products can be as well. And I might not have the answer. Classroom in a box, like, that might not even work out. Why does every classroom need a box in it? However, that someone else can take that idea and change it and totally make it. It can be adaptable in Nepal, it can be adaptable in Argentina, it can be adaptable anywhere. Ideas can change. I and many others strongly believe that a lot of the problems in the world can be fixed if more people had access to general education. And if we don't start developing ways to get that education to other people, we're still going to have these problems. So this is what I want you to do. It's not up there, just kidding. I want you to research, I want you to communicate, and I want you to answer the what ifs, check in on your products, and tell people about it. I never want you to shut up about any project you do, because you should be proud of that. If it's sustainable, you should be very proud of it. You should talk about it, and you should let people know. Sustainable projects can benefit everyone and can be done. And if you give it your all, why would you want it to only last a month? Let it last a lifetime or longer. I hope my talk has helped you and will inspire you to take on multiple projects, and if you need any help, come find me. Thank you.